This is honestly the best time to return to Genshin Impact. With the release of Columbina and Zibai, alongside major reruns like Neuvillette and Ineffa, Genshin is currently offering some of the strongest characters we've ever seen, and arguably some of the strongest teams in the entire game. Let's start with what is shaping up to be one of the most insane team cores right now. A team consisting of Zibai, Columbina, Iluga, and a general support is already looking comparable in strength to Mavuika's absolute best team, and that is honestly wild. The most important part here is accessibility. You only really need two 5-star characters, Zibai and Columbina. Iluga is a free unit that everyone gets, and for the 4th slot, you can flex units like Goro, Zhongli, Albedo, Ino, or similar general supports. For any player who is starting fresh or returning to the game, this is by far one of the best opportunities to pull and immediately build one extremely strong endgame ready team, without complicated rotations or gimmicks. On top of that, none of these characters are heavily restricted like Skirk, which makes them much more forgiving and far more friendly for free-to-play and returning players. Even if you only manage to get one of these units, they are still incredibly valuable, but we'll talk more about pull priority and team options in a moment. Before that, I want to quickly let you know about an insane Christmas offer. You can spin the wheel and earn rewards ranging from massive discounts all the way up to 50% or even 100% coupons. Just click my link below, go to the offer board, claim your spins, and then top up. Right now, Loot Bar is offering up to 30% discounts on active banners, so make sure you use the link below if you're planning to pull. Now, coming back to the main topic, both Zibai and Columbina are surprisingly free-to-play friendly. Zibai in particular benefits massively from Iluga, who acts as her dedicated 4-star support and is available for free through events and banners. On top of Columbina, Zibai also works with multiple Geo supports like Albedo, Goro, Ino, and even Shilonen. Yes, she will not perform at the same level as she does with Columbina, but these options are still very strong. And when you compare her to other DPS characters like Flint's, who requires both Ineffa and Columbina to reach premium performance, or Nefer, who has similar requirements, Zibai stands out as one of the best free-to-play DPS characters in the game right now, alongside Veresa. Even units like Skirk lose around 50% of their damage when played in free-to-play setups, whereas Zibai remains very competitive without needing a fully premium roster. Now let's talk about another powerful team archetype. Ineffa is currently the best Electro character in the game, and we've already discussed how insanely strong she becomes when paired with Columbina. If you want a deeper breakdown of that synergy, make sure to check out the videos on screen. With Ineffa and Columbina together, you can effectively revive a lot of older DPS characters. You can slot them alongside characters like Hu Tao, and it becomes even better if you already own Electro DPS units like Raiden or Clorinda. In these teams, Ineffa and Columbina are so strong that they essentially carry the damage, making those DPS units more than good enough to comfortably clear Abyss. You can also build very strong teams with Nahida, such as Hyperbloom setups. The important thing to understand here is this. These teams are not necessarily making your old DPS characters stronger. The supports themselves are simply so powerful that they carry the team. So, if you're returning to the game, you really have two very simple and effective options. Either you pull Columbina and Zibai to build a premium Geo-focused team, or you pull Columbina and Ineffa to make your older DPS characters usable again, especially if they are Electro, Dendro, or even Pyro DPS units, thanks to Overvape setups. Now, coming to players who already own Neuvillette. Being completely honest, at this point, Neuvillette at C0 is noticeably weaker compared to newer top-tier DPS characters. I would not strongly recommend further investment unless you are committed to him. If you do want to invest, you have two realistic paths. Either you go for his C1 or his signature weapon, or if you already have those, you can pair him with supports like Ineffa. Right now, Neuvillette's best teams include setups like Lauma with Ineffa or Lauma with Durin. You can also run him with Ineffa, Columbina, and Sucrose, which actually performs very well even without Farina. Now, for players who are returning to Genshin after a long break, let me make one thing very clear. Most older DPS characters have been power crept, and in many cases they will struggle to clear modern endgame content without heavy investment. That said, there are still some exceptions. Units from the Hexen Circle group such as Venti, Klee, and Razor have become much stronger thanks to recent kit changes and buffs. And when it comes to supports, most of the older ones are still extremely valuable. Sucrose is currently one of the best characters in the entire game, and the original trio of Xing Cho, Bennett, and Zhang Ling is still absolutely goated. I strongly recommend checking out our playlist for returning players if you want a clearer picture of what to prioritize and how to rebuild your account efficiently. Now, coming back to team building and pull decisions. The current meta is very clearly structured around dedicated supports. For example, to reach Skirk's full potential, you need Escoffier. The same applies to DPS characters like Flint's, Nefer, Mavuika, and almost every modern DPS unit. Because of this, for returning players, I strongly recommend prioritizing dedicated supports over signature weapons. Getting the correct support for a DPS is almost always a bigger upgrade than pulling his signature weapon. Looking at the current DPS rankings, Mavuika is still the strongest DPS in the game, with Zibai sitting very close as the second strongest DPS, followed by Nefer and Flint's. Keep in mind that all of these calculations are based on C0 R1 assumptions, so results may vary depending on your account and setup. Among all top DPS units, Zibai stands out as the most free-to-play friendly option. She technically only needs Columbina to reach her peak potential, which makes her pull value insanely high, especially since many of you are already planning to pull Zibai anyway. On top of that, we are also expecting major reruns very soon, including Mavuika, Skirk, and Escoffier, alongside new characters like Varka, so keep that in mind when planning your pulls. If I had to suggest a simple pull plan right now, the best option for most players would be to pull Columbina and Zibai to complete one fully functional top-tier team first. After that, you can decide between Ineffa or Mavuika based on what your account needs more. I would not recommend investing into both Skirk and Escoffier unless you already own one of them. In the current meta, freeze teams require both units to function properly, so pulling only one of them is generally not worth it. If you have neither, it's usually better to skip both. As a general rule, it is almost always better to invest in newer DPS characters rather than vertically investing into older ones through constellations or weapons. Endgame content is clearly being designed around newer units, and adapting to that trend is much more efficient for most accounts. At the moment, Ineffa is the best Electro unit, Lauma is the best Dendro unit, and Columbina paired with either of them can make almost any DPS clear Abyss comfortably. So yes, you have multiple strong paths depending on what your account looks like. I hope this video helped you decide what's best for your pulls going forward, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Till then.